Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about something that I've been going through, okay? And I think that it's something that we should all be talking about, especially if you do not grow up in a household where business was prioritized and now you're either a freelancer or sort of like a startup and you don't really know how everything works. So I've been on my own for almost 2 years now, and let me tell you, this has been an interesting journey. I just wish that I had the capital to kind of learn some of these things upfront. But at the same time, if you don't know what you need, you don't know how to prepare for it until it comes up. So I think that's why some of these things I kind of had to learn the hard way. And I really wish that it didn't have to cost me the time and the money. So right now, consider this video as a way for you to either cut time or cut money, because I've kind of feel like I've been through the most to kind of learn these things. So there's many of them, but today I'm gonna start with the first, like the top three things that I wish someone had told me, or that I wish that I had more of a bulldog personality to kind of be able to handle. But if you've never had your own business, you've never offered services before, I feel like these are the top three things that you need to know before you get started or in your first month, so that you know um, what it is that you kind of need to do. The first thing is that in order for you to get your foot in the door, and this is if you have zero friends who need your service, and basically there's nobody that you know that will require the service that you offer, is to reach out to your closest friends and tell them that this is what you're doing now, this is what you offer, and to get them to get their friends or someone that they know to give you a chance. And so, by someone giving you a chance, this is your opportunity to prove that you A, know what you're doing, but also B, to refine what it is that you're doing. When I first started out, I just labeled myself a social media manager, which was so wrong because I had no idea how certain things also worked and what exactly people wanted. So I wasn't sure if what I wanted to offer is something that they would pay for. So I kid you not, the first client or the first real client that I pitched, I actually broke down her entire website. I told her why her website is basically not set up optimally. And that's not what I do. What I do is social media. So, with the intention of trying to show her that I'm really aware of what a website needs to look like, how that feeds into social media, and all of that, I kind of broke down her website to show her that this website is terribly set up and will probably show up in your analytics as well. Bear in mind, at the time, I did not know how website analytics worked. However, I was a blogger on my own capacity. In my own capacity, okay, I don't know, for a couple of years before that, but I didn't have my own domain. So I know nothing about domains at this time, but I know about analytics, I know about traffic, but I know more about content and all of that. So um, I think that website kind of like breakdown got me into the door, because before I could set up the meeting or ask for a meeting, that's what I did. I basically sent in a report to be like, these are all the things that I think need work. Even though this is what I offer, this is how it feeds into everything. Because at the end of the day, I do social media so that people can get clients or so that they can sell their products, but mostly on the services side. So I think that got me in the door. So I go to the meeting, got set up. It was a live meeting um, in Bryanston. Bear in mind, Joburg traffic scares the crap out of me. It was a disaster. I was a nervous wreck. So I get there, and like when I got there, I felt kind of like, it was a bit stiff or whatever, the office set up, blah blah blah. But when I met her, or the CEO of this company that I was pitching to, she was dressed in a really chill way, which made me feel way overdressed. And as we sat down, I realized that I had done a lot of the talking with the report that I gave her. So it was a chance for her to tell me a little bit about what she wants. And that's really important. Sometimes I feel like one of the biggest lessons I've learned is to actually listen to the client, because sometimes you have a different picture to what they want. And at the end of the day, it's their business and you need to follow what they desire. You can recommend if you know better in that particular section, but sometimes they just appreciate it more if you listen to them and their view and their vision. And I think once they trust you on that, it's then easier to kind of bring about your own ideas or concepts, blah blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, so I went to the place and then we talk, and then after that I think it was a yes for her. So how do we work together and all of that? So um, so I guess the first kind of way is, how do you get into people's doors and how do you get into people's phone books? And that is to either A, tell everybody that you know, to tell everybody that they know. Trust me, if you do this, it's not going to bring you results within a day. Like, I think this took about more than 3 months for this to get set up. But in the meantime, I was working with other people. I remember at the time, there was a time when I worked with an Airbnb for a month, and I worked with them for free. And when it was time for them to kind of pay my services, they opted not to. So this thing happens in life. So you have to be open to doing these things. So I would say that if you want to get started as a freelancer in a brand new like environment, it's not a bad thing to offer services for free for a trial period. So try 30 days or 2 weeks, depending on the severity or the heaviness of whatever it is that you offer. So, for example, if you offer SEO services, I would say a week would bring about results in like enough in order for you to show that what you do is actually important and that it brings results, so that after that they can start paying you. So in during that time, focus on just moving the needle so that they can see that you are vital to their company or their organization. So get into the door. There's lots of other ways to also get in front of clients: social media, cold emailing, cold calling, all of these things that I can make a separate video on, and that all falls under prospecting. So that's like the first, like the important thing. The second thing is how to offer, how to package your services. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I see all these people be like, yeah, it's like 10K to work with me. Excuse me, what is in that 10K? Like, I feel like in order to avoid over explaining your services, or in order to not to lowball your services, you need to have packages. And I think packages help, because if you set it up like a retainer or like a VIP day, then you are set up in such a way that you know what it is that you're putting in, so that you know that it matches like the price. And another thing about pricing is that go with experience, right? But also go with knowledge. So if you know everything about this particular topic, there's nothing wrong charging like 10K for a VIP day, in my opinion, right? And a VIP day, you can Google it, but it's basically like retainers, putting a retainer in like a day, because some people demand all of your attention throughout the month, but it doesn't match like what they pay. And I feel like people who pay the lowest require your full attention, not knowing that you charge per hour as a freelancer or a person who's running a solopreneur per se. Anyway, so you need to learn to package your pricing. So for example, if you are, and that's why you need to like lots of people, okay, let me say it like this. Niching is important in my opinion, because it helps you with a price point. If you want to say your packages are 10K, but you're busy targeting individuals who are also starting out in business, who cannot afford 10K services, that is not taking care of the entire businesses, then your package to the people that you're targeting is completely wrong. So you need to know exactly how much people like that can afford, which is why if you are working over a large spectrum of people, then you need to have a separate package for each of them. So that's a smart thing to do. For example, if you are working with someone who only, as a social media manager, who only wants to post 10 times a month, you have a separate package for them. 20 posts, 30 posts. That's what I do, because I work with a variety of clients. Then, so the first one is prospecting, or how to find clients, or how to tell people that you offer the services that you offer. The second part is definitely packaging and pricing. And then the last part is invoicing. You're not gonna get your money if you don't invoice. So the world has gotten so advanced that you don't need to invoice by hand. You can onboard people onto platforms such as Honeybook and Dubsado. There's many others. So that it does all these things automatically. It sends them the contract, they sign the contract, they bring back the contract. it starts the service period, it invoices them on a specific date that you set up before the time. Basically, it automates everything. It is the best system for you to use. But if you are going at it by hand, like I am right now, because I can't afford Dubsado and Honeybook, and I'm so excited to try them next year, is that you need to invoice. So in order for you to invoice properly, you need to know when their payroll thing goes out. Because if you submit your invoice after that, you're not gonna get paid. Learn that the hard way. Oh my gosh, like sometimes you can relax and be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. It's the worst. I even had to set up an alarm that goes off um every month on the 19th to tell me that I need to set up the invoice. Sometimes I would try to get ahead of it by writing them up beforehand so that I just know that I need to send them. So it's not like sitting down and actually typing out the invoice. But if you're on a manual basis, you need to be on top of these things because I feel like this is like the fastest way not to get paid. And I think that's why you need contracts in place. But if you're not there yet, then invoicing is still the way to go. And we'll talk about like where you can get contracts and all of that later on, especially if you're a freelancer. You need to protect yourself because some people really feel confident enough not to pay you. I don't get that. But anyway, so I hope this helps. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I wish I knew these things. And even if you're aware of them, just applying them is like such a problem sometimes. Um, but we'll get into the rest of all the tips and tricks that you need in order to survive the first 2 or 3 years as a freelancer in South Africa or Africa, as we go along. But I hope these 3 tips are going to help you for now, for you to get started, or for you to actually not feel like it's that overwhelming to just get started with one client. So I really hope this helps. If it does, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And if you like this type of content, please let me know in the comments down below. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.